Hey viewers, Michael Warren here from Essential Guitar Lessons, and let's learn how to play I Can See Clearly Now by Johnny Nash. G, D, 2 bars. D again. G, A for 2 bars. D again. This is a great song for beginners to intermediate players to practice open chords and bar chords. The verses and the choruses are simple open chords. It's only the bridge which we're using the harder bar chords, so that can be a little bit tricky if you're a beginner, but we have to start playing our bar chords at some stage. It's just in standard tuning. I'll start off by showing you all the chords and how to play them, so if you know these chords, jump ahead to this time. If not, I'll break each one down for you, then we'll get into it. Don't forget, if you like this lesson, to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Songs and lessons uploaded weekly. If you're having any problems with the song, leave a comment and let me know how you go with this one. So let's get into it. Let's start with the chords. Okay, so we're going to start with a standard D chord. So we have the open D string, 2nd fret on the G string, 3rd fret on the B string, and 2nd fret on the E string. We're not going to play the E and the A string, and that's our D chord there. We're going to have a standard G chord. So this time we've got 3rd fret on the E string, 2nd fret on the A string, an open D and G, 3rd fret on the B and the E. Now you can also have an open B there and just a 3rd fret on the E. However you want to do it, it's completely fine, they're both right there. We have a standard A chord, so we have the open A string, we have 2nd fret on the D, G and B string, and open E string there. We're not going to play we're not going to play the E string there, and that's our standard A chord there. We have a C chord, so this time we're going to have 3rd fret on the A string, 2nd fret on the D string, open G, 1st fret on the B and open E string, and that's our standard C chord. We're going to have an F bar chord, so we're barring the 1st fret there. So 1st fret on the E string, 3rd fret on the A and the D, 2nd fret on the G, 1st fret on the B and the E there, and that's our F bar chord. You could play that as an F open chord if you wanted to there. Now we have a C sharp minor bar chord, so we're going to be barring the 4th fret here. We're going to play the 4th fret on the A string, the 6th fret on the D and the G string, the 5th fret on the B string and the 4th fret on the E string, and that's our C sharp minor there. We're also going to have a G bar chord. Now again, you can play the G open chord if you want to there. So barring the 3rd fret, so 3rd fret on the E string, we have 5th fret on the A and the D, 4th fret on the G string, 3rd fret on the B and the E, and that's our G bar chord. And we have a B minor bar chord as well, so we're barring the 2nd fret this time. We have 2nd fret on the A string, we have the 4th fret on the D and the G, we have the 3rd fret on the B string and the 2nd fret on the E string, and that's our B minor chord there. So the verses and choruses are just using those open chords. In the bridge we're going to use the bar chords there. So now let's also have a look at the strumming pattern, and we want to know the root notes to each of those chords as well. So D is our D string there, the root note. G is going to be our top E string, root note. A is our A string. C is also our A string because it's the 3rd fret there, which is the C. The F bar chord, the root note, is going to be on our top E string. C sharp minor is going to be the A string. The G bar chord is going to be on the E string, and the B minor is going to be on the A string, and that's the root note to each chord. Now the reason we want to know that for our strumming pattern, so we're going to start on our D. In the strumming pattern we're going to play the bass note first, so on the D chord it's the D string. Then we're going to do a controlled strum down, so we're running down the strings, not just, and then just an up, up, down, up. So slowly, bass note first, or root note first. slowly. Down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up. So when I do the G, the root note is going to be on the G string, so I play that first. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Now if you find that too hard at the start, you can just do that first one as a straight down. So down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. And it will sound pretty much the same as well. So now let's get into the song. So we're going to start with our chorus, or our chorus and verse. He starts the singing with "I Can See Clearly," so whether you want to call that the chorus or the verse, that's up to you. So we're going to start on our D, we do that for a bar, and that's just 1 through on our strumming pattern. Then G for a bar, and back to D for 2 bars, so we do our strumming pattern twice there. Then we stay on the D and we do that for another bar. G for a bar. And this time A for 2 bars. Then we're going back to D for a bar. G for a bar. D for 2 bars again, it's the same as the first line. And then from that D we're going to a C for a bar there, G for a bar, D for 2 bars, and we just do that again. C for a bar, G for a bar, and D for 2 bars. So that's not too hard. Let me play that first part through for you now, starting on the D for a bar. G, D, 2 bars. D again. G, A for 2 bars. D again. G, D for 2 bars. C for a bar. G, D for 2 bars. C again. G, D for 2 bars. So that's our first part. Then we're just going to do that again. The end's going to change a little bit. We're just going to play the C, G and D once this time. So D for a bar. G for a bar. D for 2 bars. D for another bar. G for a bar. And A for 2 bars. D for a bar. G for a bar. And D for 2 bars. So you can see it's the same as the start. And then just C for a bar, G for a bar, and D for 2 bars. So it's exactly the same as our first part, except we're only playing the C, G and D once this time instead of 2 times. So let me play that through for you now. This is the second part. G for a bar, D for 2 bars. D again. G, A for 2 bars. D, G, D for 2 bars. C, G, and D for 2 bars. So that's our verses and choruses to start the song off. Now we're up to the bridge. This is where we're using the hard chords. At this time our strumming pattern is just going to be down, down, up, up, down, up. So we're just taking out that bass note and replacing it just with a down now. So let's get into the bridge. So we're going to start on the F bar chord. Now you can play the F open chord here if you want, and just down, down, up, down, up for 2 bars. So our F to our C for 2 bars. Now this time we're going to go back to the F, but we're only going to do it for a bar and a half. So we're going to go down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. Then we're going to play the A, but we're going to do this sort of as a power chord. So we're going to play A, G, F, and then back to the A. So you can just play the open A string, second fret on the D, G, and B if you want there. Strum that once. Play the G, so third fret on the E string, play that once just as a single note. Then go back to your F bar chord once, and then to the A for 2 bars. So down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So let me play that part slowly for you because it is a little bit confusing. So starting on the F there. Then we go up to the C sharp minor for a bar, G for a bar, and you can do this as an open chord if you want. C sharp minor for a bar, G for a bar, to our C for a bar, B minor for a bar, and A for 2 bars to finish off the bridge. Now the reason I'm using the G bar chord because it's quite an easy change from C sharp minor, just lifting my fingers up a string and moving back a fret. Now you can use the open chord there if you want, there's no worries. So let me play that bridge for you now. It's a little bit more confusing with the A, G, F and A in there. So let's play that up to speed now, starting with the F for 2 bars. C, F for a bar and a half, C sharp minor, G, C sharp minor, G, C, B minor, and that's our bridge there, and then we have the last part, and let's get into that now. The next part's going to be the same as our verse or our start there, just D for a bar, G for a bar, D for 2 bars, D for a bar again, G for a bar, A for 2 bars, D for a bar, G for a bar, and D for 2 bars. Now this next part we're just going to keep playing to the end. So we've got C for a bar, G for a bar, and D for 2 bars. And then just keep repeating that till the end until it fades out. So back to the C, G, D, C, G, D. So let me just play that last part for you now. G, D for 2 bars. D again. G, A for 2 bars. D, G, D. Now out. C, G, D, 2 bars. Repeat C, G, D, 2 bars. And one more time, C, G, and D for 2 bars. And that's the whole song there. We just keep repeating that C, G, and D until it fades out. So it's all pretty easy except for that bridge where we're starting to use the bar chords. But as a beginner we have to start to learn the bar chords and start to use them at some stage. So this is a good one to start with because you can keep the F as an F open chord. So you've got the C sharp minor bar chord there and you've got the B minor bar chord, which are exactly the same shape, just on the 4th fret for the C sharp minor and the 2nd fret for the B minor there. As I said, I'm using the G bar chord just to make the change a little bit easier there. And that's all your chords and the whole song. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you soon.